Alexandria, Egypt, 1919. Ibrahim Khalil Philobus entered this world in a devout Coptic Christian family. His parents saw potential in him early and enrolled him in American mission schools. He wasn't just a good student, he was exceptional. By 1942, he graduated from Aswan University, but the church had already marked him for something greater. Church leaders personally recommended him for the Faculty of Theology in 1944. 4 intense years of study followed, American and Egyptian professors drilling him in Christianity, comparative religion, and missionary techniques. He graduated in 1948, but they weren't done with him yet. Princeton University in America became his next destination, where he earned a master's degree in theology. The church was investing heavily in this young man. Back in Egypt, Ibrahim was assigned to Aswan as a Coptic priest and missionary. He married, fathered 4 children, 3 sons and a daughter. His life looked perfect from the outside. Respected position, educated family, secure future. Then the church leaders approached him with a special assignment. Thoughtful. "We need you to study Islam," they told him. "Study the Quran deeply. Find its contradictions. Find its weaknesses. We need someone with your education and credentials to defend Christianity and expose Islam's flaws." Ibrahim accepted without hesitation. Why wouldn't he? Years of theological training at Princeton, expertise in comparative religion, finding errors in the Quran seemed like a straightforward academic exercise. He gathered his materials, the Quran, the Torah, the Bible. Night after night, he sat at his desk, pen in hand, ready to document the contradictions he was certain existed. But as the weeks passed, something unexpected began happening. The Quran's clarity unsettled him. Its consistency troubled him. Where were these contradictions? He read about God's absolute oneness. No partners, no son, no division. He compared it to the Trinity he'd been teaching for years. 3 persons in one God. How did that make sense when he really thought about it? He read the Quran's description of Jesus, honored, respected, a mighty prophet, born of a virgin, performing miracles by God's permission. But human, just a man. He compared it to the doctrine he'd been preaching. Jesus as God incarnate, dying for humanity's sins. The more he compared, the more cracks appeared in his certainty. Months became years. His research deepened, but in the wrong direction, at least from the church's perspective. He sought out Islamic scholars, needing to understand their viewpoint. That's when Dr. Muhammad Abdul Monaim al-Jamal entered his life. Dr. Jamal was an undersecretary of Treasury and a respected Islamic scholar. Ibrahim never revealed he was a priest. He introduced himself simply as someone interested in comparative religion. The 2 men began collaborating, translating the Quran into English, conducting comparative studies. Dr. Jamal treated Ibrahim with warmth and respect, completely unaware of the storm raging inside this priest's mind. Ibrahim was living a double life. Every Sunday, he stood in his church, leading prayers, preaching sermons about Jesus as God. Every night, he sat with the Quran, reading verses that contradicted everything he was teaching. The cognitive dissonance was tearing him apart. One morning, he couldn't carry the weight anymore. He had to tell his wife. He sat her down, chose his words carefully, and began explaining what his research had revealed. How the Quran made sense in ways Christianity never had. How Islam's concept of God was pure, uncomplicated, logical. She didn't let him finish. Tears streamed down her face, not tears of understanding, but horror. She ran straight to Monsieur Chavitz, the head of the mission, and told him everything. Within hours, Ibrahim was summoned. The confrontation was brutal. How dare he? After everything they'd invested in him, Princeton education, years of training, they told him he must be mentally ill, suffering from a breakdown. They suspended him immediately. Annoyed, regard yourself out of job until we discover what has befallen you. Ibrahim looked at them calmly. Calmly, this is my resignation. The mission head's face turned red with rage. He began spreading rumors throughout Aswan. Ibrahim Khalil has gone insane, lost his mind. Don't listen to him. Former friends crossed the street to avoid him. His wife faced enormous pressure to leave him. The community that once celebrated him now treated him like a disease. The persecution became unbearable. Ibrahim had no choice but to leave Aswan and return to Cairo. Broken, unemployed, reputation destroyed. In Cairo, he reconnected with Dr. Jamal. This time, he revealed everything: who he really was, what he'd been through, what he'd discovered. Dr. Jamal didn't judge him, didn't lecture him. Instead, he helped Ibrahim find work and supported him through the darkest period of his life. Dr. Jamal treated him as a Muslim even before Ibrahim had officially converted, showing him the compassion and brotherhood that Islam teaches. But Ibrahim wasn't ready to make it public yet. He had children to consider. He needed financial stability, and he wanted absolute certainty. For months, he continued his research, now openly as a seeker rather than an attacker. December 25th, 1959, Christmas Day. Ibrahim made his move. He sent a telegram to Dr. Thompson, head of the American mission in Egypt. The message was brief but explosive. He was converting to Islam. The reaction was immediate and vicious. Former colleagues stormed his home, trying to change his mind. They threatened permanent separation from his wife. Some even threatened his life. But Ibrahim had spent years studying, reflecting, suffering. He would not be moved. January 1960. Ibrahim Khalil Philobus officially became Al-Hajj Ibrahim Khalil Ahmad. He stood before witnesses and declared, Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulu Allah. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. The persecution intensified. His wife, under crushing pressure from the church and her family, filed for divorce. The court proceedings were agonizing, but Ibrahim remained steadfast. He knew the price of truth. Then the miracle happened. His children had been watching everything: their father's sincerity, his suffering, his unwavering commitment to what he believed was right. They began asking their own questions. One by one, all 4 children converted to Islam. And then their mother, seeing her children's decision and perhaps recognizing the truth herself, also embraced Islam. The family that had been shattered was reunited in faith. Ibrahim didn't waste his second chance at life. He partnered with Dr. Jamal to complete their comparative study. Together, they wrote books and articles using Ibrahim's unique perspective as a former priest to address Christian misconceptions about Islam. Not through attacks, but through honest scholarship and personal testimony. He traveled throughout Egypt and the Arab world, sharing his story. Everywhere he went, people were moved. Here was a man who had everything to lose materially: position, salary, community, family. Yet he spoke with joy about his decision. He performed Hajj, earning the title Al-Hajj. He continued his scholarly work until his death, leaving behind books, lectures, and, most importantly, a testimony to the power of sincere truth-seeking. The church assigned him to find weaknesses in Islam. Instead, he found the strength to change his entire life. They wanted him to attack the Quran. Instead, he surrendered to its message. They thought his Princeton education would make him a weapon against Islam. Instead, his education led him to recognize truth when he saw it. The priest who was sent to destroy the Quran became the Muslim who spent his life defending it. The mission failed, but Ibrahim succeeded in finding what every soul seeks: the truth.